Hello, my name is Anthony Hall, and in this tutorial I'm going to go through how I modelled the basics of this little test tube, and then what I'll do is I'll show you my how I've lit it and textured it in layout and go through the process of what I did. So, where to start and how to create this test tube. So let's jump over back into Modeler. I'm going to do a new scene. Go to create. I'm going to go to capsule. Press N on your keyboard, or you can go to numerical here. I'm going to switch it to Y, like so. And then what I want to do is come up with a shape that's similar to this. So, obviously you've got the radius that we're going to bring in, like so. So about, what's that, 250. And straight away we've kind of got it very similar. We can increase the length a little bit as well. Now, I'm not going to add any sides. I'm just going to keep it exactly like this with these settings. So shut this down, press spacebar, and then next in the back or your right view, I'm going to make sure I'm on my polygons. I'm going to right mouse click and I'm going to lasso select all the top polygons and then press delete on my keyboard, or you can just cut it away. Next what I'm going to do is I want another row of polygons around here. I could simply select the edges of this loop and move it up, but what I'm going to do is select two polygons. I'm going to go to multiply tab, bandsaw, press N on the keyboard to bring numerical and press enable, and so it gives you this extra row. And then what you can do is the value, you can decide where it is, and I want it up the top, look, to about there, so I can make this little lip bit here. So yep, I'm only doing one cut and the value, so drop selection, and then let's drop this so we're actually left with this. Okay, so I'm just going to drop all the selection actually, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to where I'm on the multiply. Let's just thicken it. So I'm just going to do it in the top view. I'm just going to bring it in. Let's have a look. Giving it an amount of thickness. I'll let you decide how far you want to go in with this. So we've got this. Okay. Drop the tool. So now what I want to do is select this top loop here. So I'm going to select a few in the same row and then go to select loop. So we've got this. So now what I want to do is bring the edges out, and you can do this a few ways. I mean, so let's have a look at how I went about it. Okay, so I use the multi-shift. So again, bring the numerical up. I changed the inset to inner edge, and then I changed the shift to contours 2. I made sure group polygons on, and then in the top view, if you simply pull to the side and up, you can decide how you want it to come out. So I'm going to do it a little bit like this, look. So I'm just literally bringing it out and in a little bit. Then I'm going to click and insert a new shift and do it again. Like so. So you're kind of getting more polygons coming across. And you can experiment with this and do it thicker or smooth or whatever. So I'm just going to drop that. Press space or drop it. And then what I'm going to do is subpatch it by pressing my tab key. And then you get this. And then you're at a stage where you can decide if you want to, if it's right or not. Now, it's a lot thinner lip than I did in my original. Here, look. So if you want a thicker lip, what you would do is go back. And then what we could do is select the first two in a line edges. And edges are down here. Or you can press your space bar to jump between them and then select it. And then what we'll do is move to the move tool. And let's just I'm going to hold control to stop it going sideways on my keyboard and pull it down to about, let's say there, and try that. Okay, and then spacebar, it will reselect if you've not or deselected the last one. So let's try again with the actual multi-shift, and then pull it out and in a bit, and then you could actually, instead of clicking insert shift, if you right mouse click, it will automatically do that for you, and then right click again. So I'm doing it 3 times this time, so it's a bit thicker and bigger, like so. So that's right mouse clicking. So drop selection, let's tab it this time so it's a bit thicker, like so. Cool. So I'm happy with that. Why it's all selected. Well, sorry, why I've got it ready. What I want to do out is, I know this is going to be glass, but I want it to be at least up to here and inside substance. So what I'm going to do is, what I want to do is from about, let's have a look. That's probably too high. Let's say from about here. So I'm going to select the inside 2 polys and click loop. So what I want to do is I want to select all the rest of the actual loops that make the inside going down, right down to the bottom here inside. So I can copy and paste them onto a new layer and give it a tops for the inside. So what you can do is you can literally go inside and select each one every 2 and keep looping it, but I always thought there was a way of just shortcutting to select the next loop below and add to the selection, but I couldn't find it. But I did find a plugin. Okay, so the plugin I use is Poly Expander. It's a free L script from the Lightwave plugins, and you can directly download it on the Lightwave website. I'll put the link in my description. So it's very basic. Then you go normal, utilities, add plugin, and then it will add it. So let's just put this to the side here so you can see. So additionals, Poly Expander, and then what I'm going to do is I want to add the previous loop, and I'm just going to keep going all the way down until it's got the last one. It'll tell you there's no neighbouring loop to get. So I've got all what I want, so I press OK. Let's just go back. So I've got all the rows of polys. Now going on my keyboard, I'm going to go Control C, Control V, and then I press F on my keyboard just to flip it. I'm then going to go to my points, lasso the top points that make up the top of it, go to create and just click make poly, and then what you get is this. So then what I want to do, because obviously it's rounded it, what we're going to do is make sure it's selected like so. So making sure you have got it selected, then go to multiply bevel in the top view. If you just click, and then what you could do is right mouse click and then bring in a couple of bevels. If you hold control, it'll stop it going in until you've got a couple of bevels like this. And then while it's like that in the middle, under the multiply tab, go to more, and then just go find make point, and then you can drop the selection, and then you'll get your top like this. Okay, so we've got a inner substance and a tube now. So while we're doing this, what I'm going to do is we'll double click the layer, call this tube, double click, call this I don't know, liquid, so I know what it is. We'll also give it a name. So while we're on the tube, set surface, we're just going to call it tube, and then with the liquid, call it liquid. What I am going to do, and what I have done, is I also lasso and select the top polys, not the side one there actually, just the top like so. Give it its own surface name. Let's call it liquid top, just so we can give it a slightly different colour to make it stand out a little bit more better as the top. Okay, so got a tube, got a liquid. If you want, put the tube in the background so you can have a look at it, and it's in there. Look, if you want to make it very slightly bit smaller, if you go to modify size, click at the bottom here instead of map, click on origins instead, and then just click and bring it in. Literally, that's probably too much. In fact, you could use a numerical and bring it in just very slightly, so it's just inside the glass. Okay, so next thing is we've just got to create the cork and some bubbles. So cork's simple, good to create. Do disc, bring out your disc. Let's go and place it roughly where we want it to be. And center, if you bring the numerical up, I mean, you can center it anyway and stuff, but what we're doing is just making it roughly around the right size. Let's add a few sides like this. In fact, you don't have to. You could keep it really simple. Do you know what I mean? Because what we're going to do is bring the bottom bits in so it goes down thinner, so it fits in like this. Look, so it's up to you. You can add sides. So we'll not add any sides. We'll just leave it. We'll make it so wide. I mean, on mine, I had like 3 or 4 lots of sides just because and I use a taper tool, but you can just select the bottom polys and stretch it in. So, but I'll show you the taper tool way, because I think the other way is very easy, which is not a bad thing. So let's just add some sides like this, like so. And then what we're going to do is go to modify taper. I'm going to right mouse click and click and drag down the area of influence and which way the area of influence is going to go, so from top to bottom. So for instance, in the top view now, if I go in and out, look, and you can bring this numerical up and do it exactly. So currently, look, we're on 79 by 80, but I just use the bottom corner sometimes to do it. And again, you can play around with the settings and decide how thin and long it is with the taper tool, and it does a lot more than that, but I'm just going to stick with it. Because I'm going on way too long. I said to myself this will be 5 minute one, and I'm babbling on. So yep, so there's my cork. Like so. Give it a surface name, Q on the keyboard, cork. And so we've got all the stuff. It's a bit too small, which is not the end of the world, so we can just size it up a bit until it's actually inside, and then pull it down to however we want it, and so on and so forth. Okay, so again, it's all got the names. The last thing I did is I went in a new layer, and I just kind of, with the create, I did a basic did the basic ball. Let's just make it something very small, like 50 mil. Oops. So it's quite a small, and then what you can do is you can do 2 things really. I mean, I'm just going to make it a bit more smaller. So we can leave it like that. We can call it bubble, and then give it a surface name of bubble. Then what you can do is leave it like that, take it through to layout and duplicate it, and then do a row of bubbles. What I did is I copied and cloned it all in here and just did a 3 or 4 or 5 little bubbles wobbling around here and just left it inside for this. So that's just one bubble, but you can do the same thing in layout. So what I'm going to do is, just because I just wanted to show you what I did a bubble like that. So literally that is it for the modelling of your test tube. So what I'll do now is I'm going to upload the scene file for you to use as well. Is if I just leave that, because that's just the basic modelling, go through to here. I'm going to just talk you through the quick setup. So if I just go to my surfaces, and for the background, it's just, as you see, it's a plain black poly with a gradient image on. That's it. But what I did do is I've plugged the colour into colour and then colour into the luminous colour and the lunar into the luminous, because I've told all the lights in the scene to ignore the background. So I only want it to, I don't want any shadows from this to hit my background or anything like that, and I just want it to kind of light under the luma or luminosity. So that's it for that bit. So again, you can see that when I give you the scene file. The bubbles just got basic glass dielectric on it that you can play around with, I think, as you can see here. The cork has just got a cork texture, and I did originally have a bumping, but I just got rid of it. I've done a cork top, which is just a UV with a little kind of skull and crossbones for poison on, which I selected that one poly, made it a UV and put that on. There's a glow, which I've actually turned off. I've actually decided not to go with the glow, and what I did is I put a linear light, which I'll get to in a minute, inside. The poison itself it's just that gradient on a slope going through, and there's a linear light inside it, making it glow as well. So that's the actual poison, and there's a poison top with a little ripple on it to get this kind of ripply kind of weird effect on it, and that's it. And then the tube itself is just the dielectric preset that I've played around with. The settings are here. So looking at the lighting, I've got my basic environment light with a HDRI that I got from HDRI Haven, and literally put it on. But I've also I think in the backdrop, oh, well, you can't see it, sorry, because I've got that screen, so that's fine. I just want it to give it help with the reflections slightly, and then I've got it just. I've also given it a tint of green and increased it very slightly for that. I've got an aerial light with portal and normalize on, and it's a similar green to the bottle at 4.6. I've duplicated that and put it at the back, but made it white at 4 with just portal on, so you get this like white shimmer down it. And then the linear light is inside the bottle to make it kind of glow look slightly, and that's how I kind of set it up for that. And then the only other thing I've got right literally is the camera, and here's the rough camera settings, and then yeah, I just rendered it out, and that's what you got. I also, once I did it, I did a love potion one as well, just to have a play around with. I'm just going to do maybe another like a weird liquid look one or something, so I've got a series of them because it's quite enjoyable doing them like that. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to put you the link to the plugin I use. I'm also I'll upload the contents directory for you to have and use as you wish for this test tube. Hopefully you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please subscribe and share, and check out my Lightwave Salvation Facebook group. And yeah, thanks for listening. Watch out for my next tutorial. See ya.